Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and well, welcome back to whatever I'm doing today, which is actually I want to talk about the models and kind of how they'll work in different scenarios. This is the current model as it stands, which currently shows Trump down by a little over 9% in the poll. According to the aggregate of literally everything. New York is a bit of an outlier, by the way, because if you look at this is the home state effect. Again, I'm not sure whether I should read it as a 7% swing or just straight up 7%. So for now, I'm taking it the way the article in 538 was written, which I can't find anymore for some stupid reason. If I find it, it will be in the description. So, yeah. And then I've also got a modified model, which I'll come back to this, and actually I want to change this back to 40 and 55. There we go. To highlight one of the experiments I did, which shows Trump down by 11% in the national poll average, which factors in approval rating and everything. So this is kind of going to be a look at approval rating and how it affects the vote total. And also for this, I've included, for both, I'm just going to include a dummy poll of approximately what the polling average was right before Election Day in 2016, which is about a 3% gap at 45 to 48. This is what my model currently says is a likely outcome, and actually this is what it says will be the outcome. Any state that's closer than 10% is highlighted in the lighter shades, and the darker shades are any state that would be beyond 10%. So this is what would happen under a really bad situation for Trump, where he has an approval rating that's 15 points underwater. And as we can see, that's really bad for him. It makes typically Republican bastions go deep blue. Think South Carolina, or not deep blue, but it makes typical Republican bastions either just barely blue, think Arizona, Texas, Georgia, or very competitive like Kansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Louisiana, South Carolina, Montana, Utah, and pushes the Democrats above 400 electoral votes. Now, because of my model's weirdness with dealing with home state advantage, you can run this experiment yourself and bring him up to 50-50. What you'll see is, well, New York. So for the purposes of realism, I'm going to assume that New York is not competitive at all and flip this back to the Democrats. And I'm going to also assume that Illinois is still, and Washington are less affected, just for the sake of ease of argument. However, this map wouldn't be too shocking if Trump was dead even in approval rating. And as you can actually see, this would indicate him with a polling advantage of a little bit over 3%. Actually, that's 4%. He would have a polling lead of 4%, which this isn't that shocking when you think about it. Most of that gain in the polls comes from states that flipped, though it would also affect states that Trump has a lead in. He would expand it even more because that's just the way it kind of works out. But obviously, looking at the actual poll, looking at the actual model, it flips New York again because there's a 14-point swing in the model for it being Trump's home state. I doubt that's what's going to happen, and also for states like Illinois, I'd probably even include New Jersey and Connecticut and Rhode Island. So these 3 states, because of their more metro nature, Delaware, I think, could be susceptible to a larger swing in the event Trump really improves his approval ratings, but I really don't see it. These states, I just don't think will be Connecticut, Rhode Island, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey. I don't think they'll be as susceptible to a swing due to Trump's, if Trump improves his approval rating to where Rasmussen says it is. Though if the all adults polling average is correct, Trump can probably expect to be blown out and lose a lot of deep red territory. But just for the sake of laughing a little bit, let's say the polling average indicates Trump has a lead of about 48 to 45, right? Good. And let's say the polls indicate that he's actually not just dead even. Well, actually, let's just go with that. And I'll leave New York in the way it is. Let me just check to see if anything's changed. Nothing significant. Also, oh, oops, that would actually explain a lot. Now that would put him at winning in a landslide, so I don't even need to change the change anything. That would put him winning Connecticut. He'd be just behind Delaware. This wouldn't be too far behind there in Illinois. He'd probably win all 4 votes in Maine, maybe just barely lose that 1st congressional district. Minnesota. New Jersey, he'd be just behind. New Mexico, he would be ahead. So that's a flip. Again, New York, you can chalk that up to the home state advantage I've given him. Which I'm tempted to drop again. Ohio, he runs away with it. Oregon, he's still behind in. Rhode Island, still behind. Virginia, he pulls ahead, but that was already to be seen. Yeah, it doesn't really change, so let's go ahead and flip what his current approval rating is, right? And that, again, that increases his advantage even more. That's 15%. Let's see. Any states that would change here? But playing around with the model like this allows me to see if I've made any errors that may need adjusting. So let's see. Alabama, Alaska. Yeah, I could see Trump winning in Connecticut if he is leading in the national poll by 15%. Delaware, yeah, that would probably flip too. Why he's almost competitive. Maine, yeah, you win all 4. Maryland and Massachusetts would start looking competitive. Yeah, you'd run away with Michigan and Minnesota. Run away with New Hampshire. New Jersey win. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. It would probably be much closer in New York, but at 15%, I would actually kind of expect Trump to win New York. Rhode Island, he just barely wins it. Yeah, so playing around with the model is fun, and notice this is a copy, so this isn't my actual model. Anyway, so, oops. As it stands, my model still expects Trump to lose, but I don't think it's that far outside of the realm of possibility for him to win. As a matter of fact, my personal forecast shows him winning, but that's because I don't think the model has an accurate picture of polling reality as of today, or what it will be like in 2020. You know, this is a good picture of where the election would stand if it was held today. You know, without any campaigning or anything like that. My personal model is factoring in how a campaign is likely going to go. So, anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Bye.